It's Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. I am coming at you with the end of our 9-week key steps to live a happier and healthier life. The first workbook is done. We are rolling out the next group. We're doing emotional resiliency for group number 2, another 9 weeks. We're going to be diving into it in 2 weeks. We're going to take a week off. We're going to celebrate those veterans. Cannot work on Veterans Day. And then we're jumping in. We've got a women's young professional group. And we've got a men's kind of recently separated, divorced, kind of trying to grow up. And that is grow beyond this sense of self that has been built within an encapsulated relationship. So I'm really excited about both of them. They're going to be really, really great. And we are going to keep going on the psychology of success this week. We're talking about barriers of success and what is holding us back. So when we look at the negative dynamic, that is really where it all begins. You can go back to the previous videos, a bad brain, and we have a couple of others with the negative dynamic. But really what is happening is we're losing belief in ourselves. We're having doubt. We're self-sabotaging. We're looking towards external validators. All of this stuff we just talked about in the work-life balance are the good enough self as well, this implicit devaluer. So we are comparing ourselves to others. We are looking at external validations. We're self-sabotaging, and we are doing some negative self-talk. So that doubt festers in us and prevents us from being able to succeed. And the best thing that you can do is let go of it. That there's no shame in this game. There's no shame in the game. Shame and guilt will hold you into your trauma. It will keep you in your past, and it will prevent you from moving forward. So we looked in the beginning at this pathway to success and what holds us back and what pushes us forward. And that doubt is a big part of what is holding us back. We self-sabotage with it. We have low motivation with it. We get into avoidant escapism. We start to have very low change motivation. We don't want to do stuff because we fear that we won't succeed. We fear we won't be perfect. We fear that somebody will reject us. And this is where we go. And in a few weeks, when we're in that emotional resiliency group, we're going to talk more about these archetypes of people, and we're going to look at these universal constructs, and I'm really excited. So please subscribe and stay tuned. We've got a couple of weeks, almost 9 weeks ahead of us before we get to those universal constructs, but you will not be disappointed. There is so much great insight into the psychology of our behaviors and what we're doing and how we're moving forward and how we're holding back. And it all starts in our mind and our emotions. And our perspective is a big part of whether or not we move forward and whether or not we hold back and we recapitulate, right? Relive the same trauma over and over again because it makes sense to us. It makes sense to us. It does. And I know that that kind of feels awkward, but that's what our brain is doing. It's just trying to make sense of the world. And when bad things happen that don't make sense, the brain figures out how to do it. Well, I must not be good enough. I didn't do enough. It was my fault. We take ownership, personalization. It's a cognitive distortion, and it starts every time a high stress situation happens. And anybody who lived through COVID knows that that is. We are all in trauma brain. Nobody escaped. We are all in trauma brain. So all those cognitive distortions are right there, and that's what's kicking off everything. And once we have a cognitive distortion, we're going back to our attachment. We're going back to our negative narrative. We're starting to invoice our partner. We're starting to put negative energy out there, self-fulfilling prophecies, and then again, back to emotional regulation. We're starting to perceive the world in an altered state, a perceived reality. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. Perceived reality, we get lost in it, and that's where the self-fulfilling prophecies come, and we just keep going through these 4 things over and over and over again. And that's what holds us back, is we get stuck in our emotions, and we're no longer action-oriented. We're not able to move forward. We're just trying to survive. So if you've ever felt that way, it could be high-functioning burnout. I just did a big post on that this week. It could be high-functioning burnout. It's where you just kind of feel like you're just surviving. You think you're doing a lot, but are you really moving the pendulum forward, or are you just moving? I did my graduate study at Eastern Virginia Medical School right there in Norfolk, but Virginia Beach, Edgar Cayce has a foundation, and he does these meditation gardens, and you just sit there and walk. You're not really going where it's a labyrinth. You're just walking in circles. But the point of it is if you walk in circles enough with that predictive path, that you start to find enlightenment. But in life, when all you're doing is the same thing over and over again, and you're productive and not purpose-driven, then you often will burn out. You're not doing anything. You're not moving forward on your roadmap to success. You're just stuck in this one place, and it feels exhausting, and it feels helpless, and it feels hopeless. Depression. That is where depression comes from. And so if you feel you're in that state, talk to somebody. Reach out. Ask somebody for help. I am here to help you get past that so that you can push yourself forward. I do have, as we wrap this up, I have 4 archetypes of our major success blockers. And they are the inner critic syndrome, that doubt. I don't know if I can do this. I'm not really sure. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm strong enough. That's why we rely on a higher power, whatever your belief is. That's why in the 12 steps, it's step number 1. Well, probably number 2. It is one of the first steps, because that's how you get past your inner critic, is you start to believe in something greater than yourself so that you can start to believe in yourself. The comfort zone is number 2. Comfort zone says, life is pretty good. It's predictable. I don't know, I feel comfortable. I like getting in my bed. I like cozying up in my comforter. I feel safe. I feel like I don't want to risk it being anything different. So we stay comforted, and that can come when we talked about financial wellness. Go back to that week. We talked a lot about the dynamics of financial decision making, and even between savers and spenders, there's anxiety between both of those, and we've learned the opposite, so what not to do, and then we learned to repeat exactly what was seen before us, and that really creates a lot of anxiety and a lot of implicit messaging and a lot of limiting beliefs. The next one is past programming, more limiting beliefs. We are looking at our past through the lens of a negative narrative, through the lens of cognitive distortions, to say, well, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm good enough. I'm not. Comparison, right? Here we go back to implicit devaluing, comparison, external validation. I only got 4 likes. What's the point of this? This is embarrassing. I can't do this. Comparison, external validation. I just told you this at the beginning of the video. That implicit devaluing, which is the negative narrative. They are in self-sabotaging, all of that coming together, and we just keep those invalid data points on a reel. And it really hurts us, and we can't get out of that reel. Our last one is the energy drainer. And that is, we get decision fatigue. We just don't know what to choose, so we just choose to not choose anything. We get into these procrastinations, this avoidant tendencies. We feel exhausted. We feel like we've put everything in. Again, that labyrinth at Edgar Cayce. We're just stuck in this space. and it is depleting our motivation because we're stuck in avoidance and the motivation isn't there to get out of it. So that's what I have for us and holding ourselves back. When it comes to success, this is the psychology of success this week. I am Jennifer Evans, Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Please click and like and subscribe. We've got a lot of great things coming up. Thank you so much. Hi, it's Jennifer Evans. I hope you are liking my videos. If you do, please comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. If there's topics that you're just dying to know about, and why do I do this and why do they do that? I would love to answer them. I do come from a cognitive behavioral background, but as we see in some of my videos, I love object relations. I love attachment theory. I love Erickson and his psychosocial developmental theories. So I do pull from a lot of different places in order to kind of build out that our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, something triggers it, and there's always a consequence after it. And that is the beauty of life and why we have a lot more control over our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors than we give ourselves credit for. This is a huge passion of mine, a calling, if you will. And I am here to support you. I've written 2 books, and I've got, the goal is 3 a year. So I've got several that are coming out in different, on different topics. But what we have right now, and you can go click on the Amazon link in the video descriptions below, but we have Saying Goodbye to Bad Brain. This is going to go and teach you everything you need to know about your negative narrative. So if you feel like life is hard and it just feels like you don't understand people or you don't understand why somebody you love keeps making the dumbest mistakes and decisions, what is their problem? They have bad brain. Go read about it. Find some empathy. Find some grace, because that is just them recapitulating their past. And we do it for ourselves and other people do it to us. And so when we know what they're doing, it makes it feel a lot less annoying and a lot more like we have agency over those experiences. So Saying Goodbye to Bad Brain. I also just released, and I'm very excited, is Key Steps to Living a Happier and Healthier Life. This is a workbook that is going to help you define what your values are, what success is for you, and what your vision of success, and it is going to go through everything that stresses us out and makes us live in suffering and despair, allow that bad brain to get involved, and instead of living in the present. So this will go through all the main things: building work-life balance, being able to be good enough, finding radical acceptance, decision making, which who would have thought that that was something, but it really breaks everything down that prevents you from living a happier and healthier life, and then allowing you to challenge those thoughts so that you can. So these are the key skills. So in my practice, I take the ABC model from Albert Ellis, through CBT. And I kind of open it up to this kind of overarching trajectory. And so we have awareness, acceptance, action. So the 3 A's of my treatment support with others, whether that's coaching or in therapy, through my books, and I have success groups as well. So I've got a lot of supports, and I use the same model. And that is, we need to build awareness about kind of why we do the things we do. We accept it. We don't agree, but we accept, okay, this is kind of my trajectory. I can see how it all comes together. I see trending patterns. I see how I act the same way. Actually, I get frustrated, but yet I'm acting the same exact ways because it is predictable, because that's my brain. It's bad brain working. It's a really good book. And so then we have action. And so I teach you lots and lots of ways to understand what the brain is doing and how to challenge, counter, and do opposite actions. And so we have lots and lots of ways. The Bad Brain book has tons of ways in which we do that, and then the workbook has ways to start reflecting. We have exercises, activities, and journal prompts. And this book will actually, Key Steps to Living a Happier and Healthier Life, will follow my success group. So it is a 6-month success group. We break it down into 9 weeks. This is part 1, is living a happier and healthier life. Then we're going to have, we also have a part 2 section and a part 3. So you can come in at each of those sections, and it will have a continuous flow. Part 2 is our emotional regulation. So we're really looking at the relationship we have with ourselves and how the bad brain comes in and makes us reactionary, and how to calm and be more action oriented. Part 3 is interpersonal skills. How do you relate with others? How do you make yourself available? The key to life is you can't control the outcomes. You got to put all those processes out there. How do you put yourself out in that process to help others and to let others help you? That is section 3. We do have a subscription program, so accountability is everything, and it is in my first part of this workbook. So you can sign up, go to my website, counselingwellnesssolutions.com. It is in the description, and check out all of these great programs that I have set up to help everybody live a happier and healthier life, no matter where your state of change. Thank you so much. Please like and share my videos. I would appreciate it. Thank you.